Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Gurudeva Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Seva Kunj Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Manju Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare Hare Bol. So we've had some very auspicious festival days. We had the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is like the father for us in the West of the Hare Krishna movement, empowered representative of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we also were observing the day of our uncle gurus, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vikram Goswami Maharaj. Very, very special personalities for us. And we're having some nice festivals coming up. Gopashtami will be the first Gopashtami for our very beloved Thakurji here. Gopashtami is the day that Krishna first took the cows or the calves out to graze. And so it's a day very connected to Madhurya Rasa. Have you heard this term before, Madhurya Rasa? So it means, actually literally means sweetness, Madhurya, sweetness. And it's referring to a kind of relationship between Krishna and his associates in the spiritual world. All kinds of relationship with Krishna are based on the principle of friendship with him and the mood of love expressed in service. We say that service isn't service without love, actually. It becomes work or duty, out of a sense of duty. But really seva, because service and seva is also different. Seva means service but with love, for the object of one's love. That is seva. But Madhurya Rasa, Rasa, do you know the word Rasa? What is Rasa? Rasa means like a kind of flavor, literally. Rasa is flavor. So Krishna says, of water I am the rasa. So in the Gita, Krishna says, Rasoham apsu kunteya. O Arjuna, I am the flavor of water. What is the flavor of water?
Clean. Fresh.
Prabhupada says when water is in the ocean, it's salty. And so you can't drink it, it's not potable. When it's in its pure state, that is Krishna. So in the same way, in this world, the soul is part and parcel of Krishna, but it's become conditioned by matter and ignorance and false ego, and therefore it's become unpalatable. So we want to go to our pure state, and that is in relationship with Krishna. So rasa means a flavor, and what it refers to is a flavor of a kind of relationship with Krishna. And so Madhurya Rasa means the relationship that Radharani and the gopis have with Krishna. And it means it's like a romantic relationship. Just like in this world, if you look at all kinds of relationship, you could say that the center of all kinds of relationships, the origin, is the idea of romantic love. And then from that comes parental love. With romantic love, how you have parental love. Then from that comes friendship and service and other kinds of relationship. So all these types of relationship we can have in this world, they exist in a pure state in Krishna's realm as a relationship with him and with his associates. So Madhurya Rasa means the mellow of romantic love in relationship with Krishna. And so some people think that the kingdom of God is somewhere where everyone's just playing on harps and singing. And it's true. but it's not devoid of sweetness and relationship and fun and humor. Actually, the rasas, there's 5 primary rasas and 7 secondary rasas, and from those come many branches. And so the 5 primary the 5 primary ones are in terms of relationship with Krishna. Friendship, like a friend, like a bosom friend, and then parental love, romantic love, service, and a neutral mood. But in Braj, the primary relationships are those of friendship with one's friends, peers, the mood of parental love, like his parents, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, and the mood of his love with Radharani and all her expansions. All the gopis we have here are the expansions of Radharani. So her moods expanded in many varieties of endeavors to please her beloved Krishna. So from her heart and her desire to please Krishna and serve him, then that mood manifests in the forms of all the gopis, the damsels of Braj. So Gopastami, which is the day we're about to celebrate, is the first day that Krishna goes out to graze the calves. And the reason for it is to get out of bounds, to get out of the bounds of his, it's called Vatsalya Rasa, the love of his mother and the love of his father for him, which keeps him like a baby boy. He wants to be a fresh, like a prince. Nataraj, Krishna is described when he enters the forest of Vrindavan for grazing the calves. He's described to look like an expert youthful dancer. He's no longer a baby Gopal, stealing butter. Now he's a fresh youth. And at that time, it says, as he goes away from Mother Yashoda, he goes from being a baby to a youth. And when he comes back closer to Yashoda, he goes back to being a baby. Because she is his mother, so she always sees him like her baby. And so Krishna reciprocates with his devotees' love for him. And so when he's with his mother, he's like a baby. And when he's with his beloveds, he's like a youth, fresh youth. Kishore. Once our Gurudev was asked, what's your favorite name? He said Kishore or Kishori. Why? Kishori is someone who is like in the you could say budding stage, like you look at like an apple that's blushing, means fresh youth, pink cheeks. This is called Kishore. It's described to be like 12 to 16 or around 16 years old, fresh youth. So this is Krishna in the forest. But when he first goes to the forest, he's just a little boy. And when he enters, Radharani and the gopis dress up as cowherd boys because they want to participate in that activity with him. So they dress up as boys. Because Krishna is only allowed to go with, he's going with all the other boys. So they have sticks and turban and rope in their turban. And so Radharani, you're going to see in a couple of days, they're all going to dress up as cowherd boys. The turban, dhoti. But when the gopis dress as cowherd boys, they're much more expert at it than the cowherd boys. When the cowherd boys dress up, it's just like, you just throw anything on and go. But the gopis, now they have a chance to dress up as boys, so it's like they're going to do it very expertly. Better than Krishna. Okay? TK.
TK.
So they're going to, and naturally they'll be very beautiful. So this is Gopastami. Gopastami is the day when Krishna takes the calves out to graze. If you were to say, what is God doing right now? If you were God, what would you be doing? Even if you liked power and authority, at a certain point you'd get bored of it. Even if you think, I'll be God. What I do is I'm God. Oh, like, you would see the movie with Jim Carrey.
Bruce Almighty.
Right? What happens when you become God? Everyone's problems become your problem. Everyone's asking you to fix their problem. So at a certain point, you'll get bored of that and you'll go back to relationship. Everything boils down to relationship. And so the idea of what God is doing, he has delegated all tasks of universal management to his subordinates, the demigods, Indra, Varuna, Agni, Vayu. They're all his subordinates. his opulences, and they're managing all affairs. And he is, what is he doing? He's playing with his friends as Kishore, not an old man. Doesn't have a beard. Krishna, in Christmas time, we don't give him a white beard. You don't have to give him a shave because he's eternally not like me. If you have a Kishore mood, then you'll always be youthful. So Krishna is ever youthful, and he is always eternally engaged in sweet, loving pastimes with his beloveds. Why not? What else is there better to be done? Have a good time with your friends. This is the highest conception of Godhead. Beyond all other, meaning all other realities also exist. The other conceptions around God. Oh, God is managing everything. He is the operator, the destroyer, the generator. But ultimately it's like described to be his post. Swami Prabhupada would give the example of a president. When a president is managing the country, everyone, oh, Mr. President, Mr. President. But when he goes home and he's playing with his grandkids, and the grandkids say, oh, play horsey with me. And he goes on all fours, and his grandkid climbs on his back, and he goes around like a horse, and his grandkid kicks him, faster, faster. He doesn't say faster, Mr. President. He says, faster, Papa, faster, faster. And the president very happily plays with his grandkids. You imagine someone trying to do that, trying to come and see the president and play horsey with him, breaking into the White House. Let's play horsey, Biden. He probably would do it. I wouldn't be surprised. But Prabhupada would describe that God is like that. He is maintaining everything. But in his own realm, he is simply forgetting all these posts, all this position, and simply engaged in a loving relationship with his own friends and family. So we are aspiring to be able to participate in that activity of Krishna. Because why not? What else is there to be done? But in this life, we have to fulfill our roles and responsibilities and take gradual steps towards that kingdom, that realm of Sri Krishna and his devotees. And so therefore, Krishna sends his very dear associates from that world to this world to teach us how to come to him. So these are our gurus. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev. As we understand, as we have heard and as we have experienced by relation with them, they are sent by Krishna. This is a real guru. There are many types of guru in this world, but we are most fortunate to have such a guru who is from Krishna's realm. There are many gurus, and they can help us according to their level of qualification. But if we're fortunate enough to get a guru who is like a messenger of Krishna, and from his abode, then we're very, very lucky. And so they came, and they taught us how to make relation with Krishna, what is the purpose of our life, what is the reality of the nature of the soul, how it's distinct from the body and matter. This is the first level of knowledge. First level of spiritual knowledge is learning to distinguish the self from the not self. Firstly, Prabhupada first taught us that, what did he first teach us? You are not this body. It's a very high idea in one sense. We think of it as kind of, it's pretty standard understanding nowadays. But even Lord Indra and the king of heaven and the king of the demons, Virochana, they both went to Brahma to learn about the identity of the self. And he ultimately first taught them, like the body is the self, as a test. And so even that understanding that I'm not this body is a very high, difficult to, they say what you act out is what you believe, not what you say you believe. So we act as if we are the body. Therefore, even though we say we are soul distinct from the body, we still act as if we are the body. It's very hard to go beyond identification with the body as the self. And so we're striving to apply these teachings in our life. And it doesn't mean we become as if disjointed and separated from our body and just like something crazy. We understand that this body is connected to the self. It's like our vehicle, so we should use it, we should take care of it. But ultimately don't identify with it as the ultimate self. This was one of the main teachings of Prabhupada. Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of the distinction between the self, matter, and God and their relationship with each other. This is what Prabhupada taught us. And then from there, he taught us what is the way, proper way in spiritual life to advance towards Krishna's realm, Braj, and ultimately what is our highest, you could say our highest potential that we can reach in relationship with him, in a loving relationship. That is called Prem Prayojan. The ultimate goal is love. But it's not also understanding the difference between worldly love and spiritual love. This is also something important to know. As long as we identify with the body, then we may think, oh, this is love, that is love, this is love, I love pizza, I love this, I love that, I love this person, I love that person. But real love is defined by Rupa Goswami. Who knows the definition of real love?
No. Oh, the one that no matter what happens, it'll get
real love means that bond of affection that can never be broken, even if all circumstances and reasons for it to be broken manifest or happen, and yet it doesn't break but even becomes stronger. That is love. Even if Sarvata Dvangsa Rahitam, Rupa Goswami says, even if there's all causes for it to be broken, meaning even from your object of love, your significant partner or whatever it may be, even if they perform all activities that would naturally cause separation or break, and yet your love intensifies, increases, that is genuine love. And so our gurus give us a barometer to understand what is genuine and what is, you could say, apparently so, but not factually so. What is it in truth? And so this is one of the teachings of our Srila Prabhupada. And he was so powerful that what he manifested in this world has such a, you could say, it had not been done to that point, such a powerful, you could say, manifestation on this earth of the message and the significance of Krishna consciousness, of this philosophy. What he accomplished was to give it such a concrete, grounded, physical manifestation that was very needed to carry on the legacy and the profound philosophy and teaching of our line. And how did he do that? It's not something like you can replicate just by, he did like a fill in the dots kind of thing. Oh, he did this, and he did this, and according to time, it was a good time, and then he met the beat. And it's like, you can't just like, I could do that. I just have to have the right facility, the right timing, the right strategy, the right marketing, and I could do that. It's not something so easy. We see so many people try to establish spiritual societies with lasting significance and stability and failed. Maybe one or two ashrams or a few followers and great philosophy, some books, but to establish worldwide movement with hundreds and now thousands of centers where Krishna is being understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone, meaning with Srimati Radhika, but Krishna, Anadi Adi Govinda, Sarva Karma Karanam, the original, the Supreme. It's very amazing. And so as we understand, without a very deep power of spiritual connection and relationship and power, Shakti behind it, it's not possible. There's a verse in our Sastra that says, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahitar Pravartana. Without Krishna's Shakti, his power, his energy, his blessing, you cannot spread his movement, his teaching. So therefore we say Srila Prabhupada had that Shakti with him, and therefore he was able to spread very quickly this beautiful path all over the world. Therefore we offer pranam to him again and again and have a great amount of appreciation and gratitude. We cannot even fathom that the importance of what he did and how much we are, you could say, indebted or in appreciation to him. Therefore, we offer pranam again and again. Spiritual life, it has its external manifestation, but without an internal development, nothing can genuinely appear externally. And so if we can look at the external manifestation of what Srila Prabhupada accomplished, look at his accomplishment. That means how deep his internal spiritual life must have been. And we give the example of like spiritual life. What is the soul of it? If you understand the soul of it, then the body of it can all make sense. If there's no soul, then the body is useless. It's dead. As soon as the body is without a soul, it's just dead. People throw it away, people burn it, people bury it. People don't want to touch it. Now everyone, hi Tirtha, shake your hands, give you a hug. If you're dead, why? The soul left the body. Don't touch it. When it's alive, it's nice. So life is the soul, consciousness, and this presence of that. Consciousness is itself not even the soul. Consciousness is like the external presentation of the soul. The soul is something even more powerful and spiritual in essence. Consciousness is one of the qualities, you could say, of the soul. And it's used almost synonymously, but it's something deeper. It's the particle of God. That's the soul. And so what is God? How can you limit or just say God is this? The soul is a particle of God, part and parcel of God. Mamai vangsa jiva loke. Krishna says in the Gita, my angsa, my part is the jiva, the soul. So if we just say, the soul is consciousness, it's right, but is it completely right? It's like one facet, but it's not a complete picture. So we're a particle of the Godhead, part and parcel with him, a part of the supreme whole. It's described as if God is the sun, we are a particle of light, a photon. And God is the whole sun. But Srila Prabhupada's spiritual life was so potent. Think of like a seed of a banyan tree. In the seed of a banyan tree, the potential for the whole banyan tree is there. But without the seed, the banyan tree will never manifest. And without the right conditions, the banyan tree will never sprout and blossom and grow. And so the external manifestation of the movement comes from the internal potency, like a seed-like state, which is like the soul. And as powerful as that is, if you take like a small, like a tree, a brush or something, it cannot become a banyan tree. If your spiritual life becomes very powerful, very potent, then it can manifest externally as like a big tree. We see the tree of Prabhupada's movement spread all over the world, like a banyan tree. Banyan trees, they can spread for many miles in many directions, in all directions. And so Prabhupada's movement is like that. It's spread in all directions. So how potent that seed must have been. So everything is first coming from its seed state. So that's why we say intention is so important. Understand what you want to do in its seed form, and then you can make efforts towards it. When Srila Prabhupada took sannyas, Gurudev was talking in his class. He said he didn't waste a single moment. He never wasted a moment. And we think of like, I'm not wasting any time. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, 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 I'm doing that. But what are you doing it for what? You can be busy, but busy for nothing. Or busy for many things which accomplishes nothing. Or you can be busy with very clear intent, very clear focus, and deep connection, deep power behind it. Then you can accomplish something. So Srila Prabhupada had that. Gurudev said he didn't waste a single moment. He was always either writing or preaching, publishing his magazines, chanting, going here and there. He never wasted a single moment. He said we should be like this in our spiritual life. We should be very focused. In spiritual life, when this is how we know we're advancing. Shanti ravarta kalatvam. You become very distressed when a single moment is wasted. This is the symptom of advancement in spiritual life. Shantir avyartha kalatvam. Restlessness upon wasting a single moment. Doesn't mean we have to run around like bees, but chanting, like I like to say, the more busy we are, the more shanti we should be. It's like, what is your frequency? It shouldn't be a restless frequency, but it should be an active. It's like, what is the frequency? It's hard to say, but it's like it should be rooted in the heart and grounded, but focused and active. Kriya Shakti, taking shelter of Radharani. So Srila Prabhupada, we can see we're taking shelter under the shade of what the tree that he established, of his society and of his movement, and receiving the benefit of the fruits of what he did. And each of those seeds from the fruits of what he did is so powerful that itself can manifest many more trees. So how glorious is he that he, it's like Krishna, we say about Krishna, he's the first candle who lights all other candles. So Srila Prabhupada, it's like he's the first tree in the West. And so all other societies, all other sanghas that come in this line owe a debt to him, because their fruits are coming from his tree. And it's sprouting from that. Even though you can say, okay, we're bringing other fruits from other places, but you're still, the ground has become fertile by his endeavors. And therefore, we offer him pranam. And he is like our godfather, like our father in this line. So therefore, we are trying to go deep in our spiritual life. We shouldn't some people try to like artificially imitate. And it's like they're trying to make big trees, but what are they doing? It's like you go into a forest and chop down a tree and put it in the ground. You didn't establish any roots. You're imitating. Oh, I'm gonna go, like today we were chopping up many trees. Oh, this tree is good. Let's put this in the ground and dig a big hole and put it back in the ground. Is it gonna come to life? No. So if you want to do something substantial, first you must go deep to find that kernel of truth, that essence, the essential thing. And what is that essential thing? That essential thing is relationship with Krishna and devotion and service and grace and instruction and guidance. Without his desire, why should we do anything? When he wills it, when he instructs us, then we can serve him by doing anything in this world. It's not independently. Oh, I'll go and do something. Srila Prabhupada was not independent. His Gurudev said, you must go and do this. He wasn't independent. When you're under guidance, you have great power in that. There's great power in a divine blessing from someone very potent and powerful. Even we may not have the strength, but in the instruction of the divine personality, strength is impregnated. Mama virya sambido, Krishna says, in my instruction, my power is present. Satang prasangam mama virya sambido. Krishna says, my instruction holds my virya, my power. And so with an instruction, there's that great source of untapped power and wealth and strength. And so we take shelter of that, and we try to develop that spiritual potent seed and nourish and nurture that internally, and then gradually that can sprout, and then it should be taken care of at each stage. It said if you have a few leaves on your creeper, you shouldn't be too charitable with it. Oh, I have 2 leaves. I'll give one to this person, one to that person. In spiritual life, some people, oh, I learned something, I know something. Oh, come everybody, listen. Now I'm Guru. I'll tell you this, I'll tell you that, I'll tell you this. And then my store is empty. And you'll take this, and then I'm finished. Take my hand, take my leg, take my arm, take everything, and then when I'm left with nothing. Spiritual life's not like that. First, you take care of that. Find the seed, develop that seed, germinate that seed, take care of that seed, plant it, put it in the right field, give it the right light, water, associate. What does that mean? Association. The seed of spiritual life, the soul is in a seed-like state, and we're trying to let it blossom. And when it's fully blossomed, it becomes a tree, then it has fruits. The fruits are Krishna Prem, divine love. Then you can share those fruits. You eat them yourself and you share them. But first, that seed needs to go in the ground and be in good light, good water, good soil. That's all association. Harikatha, hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, taking his prasadam, serving. All these things are the soil, the light, the water, the favorable elements. And then we sprout. And then when we sprout, what do? We protect it. That's the next thing we do in spiritual life. Give it a fence. What is the fence? Sadhu Sangha, association with devotees under guidance. Sujatya Ashray Snigdha. That's what we're trying to provide here at Bhaktivinoda Ashram. Friendship, guidance, and purpose. Friendship, Sadhu Sangha, devotees who are favorable, have a similar mood, who can give shelter, who can give guidance, who are more advanced. Svajatya Ashray Snigdha. That means Svajatya, like family, spiritual family. Svajatya. Snigdha, affectionate, friendship. Svajatya Ashray Snigdha means family, friendship, guidance. Ashray means they're giving us shelter and they are more advanced than us. In spiritual life, if you want to progress, you need association of those who are more advanced than you are and give guidance. And so this is what we are trying to facilitate here. Friendship, guidance, and within like a nourishing spiritual family environment, purpose and direction, developing us in relationship towards Krishna. And so therefore, this is the next stage in spiritual life. Krishna Dikshari Shikshanam, coming into the family of Krishna's devotees. Achyuta Gotrasya, I'm in the family of Krishna. That's what we're trying to do here at Bhaktibandav. Like we're publishing our card. What is our tagline? There's a tagline, but the idea is like in a flyer, what are we describing ourselves as? We're offering friendship, we're offering guidance, spiritual family, and a guiding light in our spiritual journey. Friendship, spiritual family, and a guiding light in our spiritual journey towards relationship with Krishna. These things are what we need to develop in spiritual life. So then gradually that sprouts, grow and grow and grow and grow, and eventually when it's a strong tree, many branches, many fruits, then it can say, oh, come, 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 you can sit in my shade. Here's a fruit. Then we can, otherwise it's dangerous. Oh, take this branch, take that branch, take this leaf. We need to be under the shade of a big tree. And then we can say, oh, my Gurudev said this, you should go to my Gurudev. My Gurudev is giving this. Then we can call everyone. When we're a sprout, a baby, we can call everyone. Come, 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 come. Come take shelter of Gurudev. This is our service. Come take shelter of Gurudev. Come take shelter of Vaishnavas. Don't take shelter of me. Take shelter of Gurudev. And then, Sakale Miliya, E Parakasta Siddhika Vihavi. When will that great perfection come? That we will all be together, relishing the nectar of the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika. So we'll stop here today. Any questions? Questions? A kernel. It's like a piece of corn.
Popcorn.
Kernel. It's like in an army, a colonel. It's like a lieutenant.
It's different.
The kernel is like an essential part. Like on a corn cob, each piece of corn is a kernel.
It's that which everything else comes from.
Correct. Okay.